Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's Sustainable Living Series webinar. Today we have Hannah Kitchingman, yes, Manager of Programming and Partnerships at Dress for Success Kingston. So Dress for Success Kingston's mission is to empower women and gender diverse individuals by providing professional attire and a personal growth plan to help her thrive in her career and in her life. The cost of living has increased to the point where many people struggle to meet their basic needs. This presentation is going to offer information on who and what Dress for Success Kingston does, the impact and clients served in 2022, and how to contribute to the sustainable fashion movement in our community that can assist women and gender diverse individuals in breaking the cycle of poverty and becoming financially independent. Awesome. Without further ado, please welcome Hannah Kitchingman.
Hi everybody, it's so lovely to be here. I'm so excited. It's a bit of a rainy day in around here. So I hope everybody's prepared for rain. I am not, I don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my little presentation. Here we go. I hope everybody can see that. I'm taking Marlo like nodding with her thumbs up is like
You're good.
good. So that's perfect. So my name is Hannah Kitchman, and I am the manager of programming and partnerships at Dress for Success, which is actually a very new role for us. The year before, I actually was covering for our executive director who was on maternity leave. So that's actually how I kind of started in the organization over a year ago. And then we were able to secure funding to really establish more programming for Dress for Success that kind of go beyond the suit. So I'm going to talk a bit more about Dress for Success in a bit. But what is sustainable fashion? Any ideas? Like you can pop it in the chat if you want. That word sustainability seems to be like a little bit of like a really great a pop-up word that we seem to be looking at a lot. And it's been sort of really trending, I guess would be the word I would use. Um, oops, where's my thing? Yeah, reuse, not fashion hazen. Yes, I love that. Not fashion. Not fast fashion. So I'm just so it's concerning more than just fashion, textiles, and products. It describes products, processes, and activities aiming to achieve a carbon neutral fashion industry built on equality, social justice, animal welfare, and ecological integrity. We are trying to get our carbon footprint less in the world. We are thinking more about our world, more about the global future of who we are and what we do. And fashion, one thing is fashion aims to reduce the negative impact on people, animals, and our planet, which is something I think we can all agree on. So why is sustainable fashion important? It promotes well-being of people, communities, and the environment. So not only are we protecting the environment that we care so much about, that gives us so much stuff in return, we're also promoting the well-being of the people and our communities. So not everybody can afford to go out and buy a new item of clothes when they have an upcoming event, they have a job interview, or they get promoted at their work or something like that. And what sustainable fashion is, it's that ability to offer people to have new items of clothing without actually being new items of clothing for them. So my little graphic next is like the cost of a mid-range business suit. So, you've got your blouse, which is maybe about $75, blazer about $200, pants $150, shoes $100, depending on your accessories and a handbag. That could be a total of about $605. And again, that's just being reasonable. Some places, depending on where you go, things can be much more money. Like, I've gone to a store and looked at handbags, and handbags are, $50 to anywhere to $100. If you want something with that name brand on it, you're looking at maybe a couple $100. But I just kind of wanted to get like a general idea of what it costs. So if you think about that cost right there, that $605, how many of you would be able to go out and buy that interview or that business attire right today? Probably not a lot of us without having to plan it or put it on our credit card even. Um, the basic living is what's important to us. And we've all seen the rise of gas. We've seen the rise in cost of groceries, the rising cost of housing. These are all things that are impacting people in a huge way. So, before, and I don't know if anyone else has ever had this thing, is clients come to Dress for Success, and sometimes they go, well, it's either I buy groceries this week or I buy a new blazer for this interview. This blazer could change my financial future because it could promote me into a job that has better pay, maybe benefits, things like that. But that idea of spending $200 up front on a blazer compared to spending $200 on groceries is a really hard thing for a lot of people to have to make that choice. And that's a choice that we don't want anyone to have to make. You shouldn't have to decide between groceries and gas or groceries and rent, things like that. And when it comes to fashion, when it comes to how we dress, that isn't a basic need. We need basics in order to have clothes on every day. But most of us can't go out and buy a blazer and a new handbag and new pants, and all that kind of stuff. So at Dress for Success Kingston, our mission is to empower women and gender diverse individuals by providing them a professional attire and a growth plan that helps them thrive in their career and their life. We are a welcoming, accessible organization that empowers women on their path to employment, and we are supported by a strong volunteer base, strong community, and corporate partnerships. So what we do, our big thing and what most people know when they think of Dress for Success is we suit women, we suit transgender or gender diverse individuals for interviews, employment, education, placements, and it's all for free. So if you are, we often suit a lot of students who, we can probably all remember being students and having little to no money while we were paying for our education. And then you have this opportunity to go to this really great conference or this really great interview for like an internship or a placement. And you're like, what do I do? How do I even know how to dress? The last 3 to 4 years, I've been sitting in kind of my yoga pants and my track pants because I don't have to get dressed up to go to class, especially if class is virtual. You really have to look nice kind of from the shoulders up. So for a lot of people, it's not only having the money to get the clothes, it's also not really understanding how to put those clothes together to feel confident and to feel that you can make a positive impact and present yourself in a way that shows that you are the right fit for that job or the right fit for that promotion, or that you fit in with the culture that's around you at a group meeting or a conference or presentation. So what we do is any women receive anywhere from 2 to 3 outfits for interview. So you would come in, we get referrals, or you can self-refer to our agency. It's very simple. You can either give us a call, send us an email. There's even a self-referral button right on our website. And what we would do is we'd set up an appointment with you. You'd come in. It's a one-to-one confidential appointment where it's anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. And you're there with a suiting stylist. So a wonderful volunteer within the community that's, has a passion for fashion. And you will receive anywhere from 2 to 3 outfits for that interview. So, it's how do you mix and match? And maybe you have, it's going to be a couple stages of interviews. So you don't want to wear the same interview to the first interview that you wear to your second interview. So that's why we try and give you a bit of options to kind of mix and match. And sometimes, I don't know if anybody else has this, but you wake up thinking this is what you're going to wear, and then you put it on, and you're like that. So sometimes having that different top or a different pair of pants is a great option when you're not really sure, or you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm not feeling these pants today, or I'm not feeling this color today. So it's really nice to have some options to kind of go through. Once you've done the interview, and let's say you get that job, you're excited, but you're like, oh my God, now I have to dress like nice every day. I can't wear my track pants to work. I can't wear my yoga pants. I need to wear, it's a very business casual setting. I need to wear, dress pants. Maybe I can wear jeans, but I need to wear nice blouses. Maybe I have to wear blazers or cardigans. So once you've become employed, we actually invite you back and you can return and receive a week worth of specific job clothing. So that is, when I say a week's worth for us is you can wear the same pair of black pants every day if you wanted to, and nobody's probably going to notice unless there's something really unique about them. A pair of black pants can be worn every day and nobody will know. So it's a lot of items for that week of worth of clothing that's really interchangeable so that you can have more than just 7 outfits. So that's the really great thing about our suiting stylists. They find ways to be like, oh, this shirt you could wear with these pants, but you could also wear with this skirt and you could do this and you could do that. So it's really a lot of information about how to dress, what looks good together, and kind of building your confidence so that you feel great when you walk into that interview or you walk into that first day of work and you're like, all you have to focus on is what your job is. What are you going to do? You don't have to think about, oh my God, do I look good compared to everybody else here? Do I look the part of this job? That kind of stuff. We try and kind of break down those barriers for clients. We have clients that are referred to from Restart, Keys, ACFME, Girls Inc., St. Louis College, Adult Learning Centers, Elizabeth Fry, and more. And as well as I said, you can self-refer or refer a friend. Like, so maybe you've come and used our services, refer a friend. Our Beyond Suiting is we offer monthly workshops on topics such as financial literacy, time management, health, wellness, and job searching. So this is where my job has really grown in this new role is we're pretty good at the suiting part. We've been doing that since 2013. But what we haven't really had the opportunity because we haven't had the staff or the resources is what happens beyond that suit. So we've given you the suit, you've gone for the interview. Now what? Your stresses don't end there. Your worries about employment or your struggles to balance work and life don't end at when we've given you two or three outfits and you've gone. So we are working really hard to build our Beyond the Suit programming to offer those workshops that say, okay, you've got the job now. How do you keep the job? Oh, this is, how are you balancing work and life? A lot of clients that we see have a lot of barriers to education and employment. And it's really trying to figure out how do we make those steps for them? How, now that you've got this job and it's a great experience for you, how can you learn to save money because you want to, put a down payment on a house, or you need to move, or your kid, you've been just told that your kid needs braces and you don't have benefits. How do you save that kind of money? How do you plan for that stuff? So our Beyond the Suit is really working with our clients after they've been suited to see what services they need moving forward. And maybe it's workshops, maybe it's a support group. We've seen a very big increase in refugee, immigrant, and immigrant and refugee clients coming to the city that don't have that support system here in the community and feel very lost and feel very isolated and alone. So we're looking at maybe do we start kind of like a monthly group session where people can come and just have an opportunity to meet new people and start building that social support for them. We also offer our professional women's group. So this is a program that we started maybe about a year and a half ago, which connects professional women with clients to help facilitate their employment journey. So these are women who've come into our program, we suited them, and now they've got that job, they're working, and now they're kind of ready, like, what's the next step? I've got the job, I'm ready to kind of keep going on my employment journey. Is my next step going back to school? Is my next step, applying for different jobs? What is that? So our professional women's group really connects professional women who are volunteers from the community with our clients to help them kind of do some mentorship, guiding, and we do offer workshops as well with that program. So here are some of our stats. Since we started serving in 2013, we've served over 1,800 clients in Kingston alone. So I don't know how many people love charts. I love charts and stats. I don't know why, but it's really exciting for me. Last year, so in 2022, we actually served, so you'll see it's broken into interview, employment, and school/other. And in 2022, we served 358 clients in 358 clients, which was actually our best service year ever. You'll see that in 2020 and 2021, we did have a little bit lower because of COVID and, you know, the issues of lots of jobs, you know, were non-essential, lots of places shut down, things like that. People started working from home. You didn't always need to have that business attire or that casual business wear to do your job via the virtual world. But we've seen a huge increase. You know, we're just into not even halfway through February, and we've already seen twice as many people as we've seen last year at this time. So the demand for employment and women returning to the job and the workforce, returning to school, that is growing. That is growing, and people are seeing that importance of becoming independent, becoming sustainable themselves, becoming financially independent. These are things that women see. Women don't want to be, or gender diverse, transgender women, they don't need to be relying on someone else to be able to have the things that they want. So it's really important for promoting that re-entrance or that beginning into the workplace. So here are some barriers that many of our clients face and many of our community members face. Gender stereotypes, lack of flexible work practices. Many of our clients are moms, are single moms, and daycare right now is an issue. And there is not enough daycare spaces for all the children here in our community. And, you know, when your daycare says, oh, I'm only open 9 to 5, but your job goes from 10 to 6, what do you do for that hour? So that makes it, again, more complicated. And if you don't have that support system, you don't have the option to kind of make a flexible work schedule, it becomes harder and harder to be able to get out of there. Again, there's also affordable and accessible childcare, societal expectations regarding gender roles, like who's responsible for the housework, who's responsible for the childcare. It usually falls on the mother. It usually falls on the woman. You know, and we're trying to break those gender stereotypes and say, oh, it doesn't have to be the woman that just stays home and cooks dinner. It doesn't have to be the woman who's the main source of childcare when parents go back to work. There's sexism, there's unconscious biases that we all have. There's unequal pay, there's difficult expectations, there's limited career advancement opportunities, there's sexual and gender-based harassment, and lack of sponsorship, mentorship, or a lack of female role models in our community. I don't know how many people know this little stat. 1 in 3 women will experience sexual assault at least at one point in their lifetime. 1 in 3, that's a huge statistic. And if you are suffering from something that's happening in your home, that is affecting you going to work. That's affecting you being on time every day. That's affecting you even being able to leave the house maybe. So there are so many things that kind of are being put in our way to kind of get to that employment, that next step for employment or that next step for education, that we all need to kind of think about and be like, okay, what are my barriers to employment and how can I work to kind of overcome these challenges? So a lot of the time is you've come to get that suit, we help with that. So you feel confident, you feel like you belong, you feel like you are the same level as other people that you're going to interview with. However, but there's still more barriers to go. And that's why we try and work with our clients to make that growth plan for them that works. We want to know what their barriers to employment and education are. We want to know what their struggles are because we want to help them overcome those and, you know, make steps so that they are independent and feel empowered and feel like they can conquer their own success plan. So 10 times more women than men in Canada have fallen out of the labor force since 2022. That's really not probably a shocking stat for a lot of people, as COVID started in 2020 for us here in Canada. And a lot of the jobs that were impacted the most were part-time jobs. So 78.8% of part-time workers in Canada are women. That's 3/4 of the population are part-time workers or women. So when restaurants shut down and food service industry shut down, childcare shut down, schools and stuff shut down, women were impacted so much more than men, because as much as their jobs are important, they were deemed maybe not as essential as nursing or tradespeople, things like that. So, that idea of going out to a restaurant and having a drink after work, that became something we all had to kind of like go, oh, can't do that now, can't do that now. 1.5 million plus women live in poverty in Canada. And 76.8% is the average earned by a full-time working woman for every dollar a man makes. So those are just some little stats. I like to put them in there because I like for us to start thinking about that stuff, because sometimes we don't think about it, because it's not impacting us maybe on a daily basis. It's not something that we see every day, but they are important things that we, as everyone in this community, we need to be recognized that there have been some very impactful things that are happening to women in our community. Our belief is when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're more confident. And when you're confident, you can be successful. I always use myself as an example, as when I got stuck at home for COVID, I used to dress up really nice for work every day and I feel confident and things like that. And I felt like I looked good. And when I felt like I looked good, I felt good. Like I felt like I could take on the world. That confidence was there. When I started working from home and I didn't have to get dressed, and I was in my track pants or my yoga pants and my t-shirts every day, I started not liking how I looked. And when I started not liking how I looked, I really started not feeling good about myself. And lots of things started to slip. And when I started not feeling good about myself, I lost confidence in who I was as an employee. I started second guessing every decision I made at work. I started not thinking that I was good enough. Every time I got feedback or critiqued by a supervisor or a coworker, I took it very negatively, thinking, oh, any minute now I'm going to get fired. I'm not good enough. So there is a connection when you feel good and that confidence. So when I wasn't looking good and feeling good, I lost my confidence and I don't believe I was successful at my job. And, and when I'm not successful at my job, that it impacts other people that I work with, the people around me, the clients that I work with. It affects, me getting out of bed every day. I'm not going to lie. There were days that Hannah did not want to get out of bed because she just couldn't do it. And we've all have been there. We've all struggled like that. So when I finally stopped and really thought about what was bothering me, I was like, okay, what is different for me being at home compared to me going to work? Why was I more confident at work than at home? And I was like, okay, I live alone. That can be a big thing, but I can still talk to people through Zoom, through phone, text, things like that. I realized after a while, after a lot of soul searching, I was like, I don't get dressed. I don't get up. I don't shower when I get up in the morning anymore. I don't even brush my hair. Sometimes I didn't brush my teeth and I didn't put my nice clothes on. And I was like, I lost my routine of how I felt good in the morning. So, when I hadn't showered for 2 or 3 days, that didn't make me feel good. So what I started doing was I started getting up every day like I was going to leave the house for work. I got up, I showered, I brushed my teeth, I, brushed my hair, and I put on something nice. The only difference is I didn't leave the house. I made a little desk area in my house. I said, this is my workspace. And my confidence went from, oh my God, I'm going to get fired any moment because I'm no good at my job, to, oh, good at my job and I do have things to offer and I am providing a service for people. And I felt more like when people were providing me feedback, or when, something didn't work out when I was planning it, I had more confidence in myself to say, you know what, that's okay. You know what, we can change this, this, and this, and you know, we'll improve. That whole outlook on who you are and your job ability changed drastically for me. And you know, maybe I'm the only one, but I don't think so. And I think we've all kind of had that thing, those moments when we're like, "Ugh, maybe I'm no good." So if it sometimes takes that idea of looking good, if you don't have the money to buy clothes that make you look good and make you feel good, how can you feel confident going to work? Some people can feel confident, and I love it. If you can feel confident without having to dress nice, I think that's fantastic. But some of us are the way we put ourselves externally does affect how we feel internally. And one way Dress for Success can really help is kind of breaking that barrier. You don't have to have tons of money in order to look good, which means you don't need tons of money to feel good, and you don't need tons of money to feel confident and successful. So that's kind of what we believe at Dress for Success, is that everybody can look and feel good, and it doesn't have to cost you that decision making. Do I buy groceries this week? Do I pay my rent this week? Or do I buy myself a new outfit so I can feel confident going to this interview or going to this conference? There's all that kind of stuff. Oh, I'm just gonna go back for a sec. And some of the women we work with, it sometimes surprises people is, you know, someone could have a really great job and still not be able to afford those kind of extras, those clothing. But you know, they own a house and they live in a nice area and they have a good job. But sometimes we don't understand what's underlying for a lot of people. You know, they're a single parent. You don't know how much sometimes rent costs for some people. You don't understand sometimes what struggles other people are going through. Yeah, maybe they're a single mom and they have an ex, but maybe their ex isn't paying child support. Those are things that we don't know. And we need to stop making those judgments just because someone has a good job, they should have money. So I just like to throw that out there. So what we need, what to donate. So if you're interested in donating to Dress for Success, we love new or gently used items. We ask that they are career appropriate, that they're laundered and kind of ready to wear. So I just have like a list of like what we accept and what we kind of don't accept. And it's pretty straightforward. You know, gently used, clean, business appropriate shoes, purses, jewelry, suits, blouses, pants, seasonal outfits, hosiery, undergarments. We even accept unopened and unexpired toiletries and cosmetics. We have lots of women that we provide hygiene kits to, you know, which is basic shampoos, conditioners, so razors, all those kind of things, because again, that all adds up after a while. And when you're struggling to make ends meet, sometimes those are the things that fall to the wayside. Things we don't accept are exercise or lounge clothing, novelty items as t-shirts, sweaters with any graphics or logos. We don't take formal wear or event wear, things like that. So, you know, no prom dresses or, you know, special occasion, things like that. Clothing that's torn, missing buttons, or dirty, or used undergarments such as underwear, pantyhose, or socks. There are always items that we are always in need of. And those are your basics that everybody kind of likes. Black tights, black flat shoes, ankle boots, dress socks, plain white dress shirts. Need those so much. The sizes that we struggle to keep in are the extra small, so the zero, the double zero, the zero, and the twos, as well as the 2X and the plus sizes. So the 2X, 3X, 4X, and 5X. We struggle with those sizes because usually they're sizes that people don't like to give up. So we do struggle with those sizes. We're always looking for new underwear. Black pants are huge. Black pants you can wear for any job. And we also, you know, people come back and be like, I got the job, but their job is at, let's say, Walmart, and they're required to wear black pants every day. You know, I worked at Loblaws for years. Loved my job at Loblaws. I had to wear black pants every day for work. I couldn't afford to buy black pants every day. So I wore the same black pair of pants every day, probably for almost 2 years, until they were like worn out so bad that I had to buy another pair. So, you know, I understand that when you're like, oh, I'm working, but it would be nice to have more than one pair of black pants that I can wear to work every day. We're always looking for scrubs, current blazers, and a big thing is footwear in sizes 11, 12, and 13. Those are big sizes of shoes, but we have seen an increase in women with larger feet, or transgender women who, their feet are larger. And so those sizes are becoming a little bit more harder and harder for us to come by. How would you like to get involved? Well, there's lots of ways you can get involved with Dress for Success. It could be as simple as donating items, or you could host a donation drive at your home with your friends, your family, or at your job. And, we have a little package on how to kind of set up your own donation drive and kind of do things like that. You could attend one of our pop-up sales, which I'll talk a little bit more in a little bit. You could volunteer as a suiting stylist. Do you have a flair for fashion? Do you love clothing? Do you love putting things together? Do you have that flair? Well, maybe becoming one of our suiting stylists would be a great volunteer opportunity, because we're always looking for them. We served 358 individuals last year, and that's a lot of individuals. You could help to plan events or facilitate fundraisers or events. You could even just join our mailing list in upcoming events and news. There's lots of ways that you can get involved with this. Yesterday, we actually hosted a volunteer training session about how to talk to clients who disclose abuse and sexual assault. So, we're working with a vulnerable population. People will come in there and they've had a pretty tough time, and sometimes things come out. And it's really important for our volunteers and our staff to understand kind of what the next step is. So we do offer those trainings to our volunteers as well. So there's always great things like, okay, so I said our pop-up sale. So this might be what I think might be the favorite thing of most people in the community. Is a couple times a year, we open our boutique. If you've never been, you should very much stop by. And we open it up as a fundraiser, and you can actually shop our closet. So you can shop pants, tops, blazers. We have tons of jewelry. We even have some designer items that are donated to us that we sell for a fraction of the price that you would get them at a retail store. So we only do this a couple times a year, and it's usually only about 3 days, but it's an opportunity for you to come in, get some great clothing that has been donated in the community that is in good shape, that you can help build that sustainable fashion industry, as well as have an opportunity to actually talk with some of our stylists and volunteers and help develop those outfits. Because I don't know about anybody else, like I work at Dress for Success and I can put a basic outfit together, but I'm never really 100% confident in what I'm wearing. And sometimes I walk in and I'm like, Penny, who is our boutique coordinator, she's our fashionista of fashionistas. She is the reason everybody loves coming to us. She has got the greatest personality. But I ask her, I'm like, I'm wearing these pants that just doesn't feel right. What would you do? What would you do? And she loves to provide that kind of advice. And you know what? That helps me so much feel, again, more confident. Hey, I bought this item, but what do I put with it? So those are really great things. And that's a nice thing about our closet pop-up sale. You don't have to be a client in order to kind of get that experience and having that suggestions of a stylist without somebody like at a retail store pushing you for a sale, because we don't have to make the sales. Everything's very affordable. And if you like it, great. And if you don't like it, that's okay too, because we've got you in the door and we're showing you what we do anyways. And that's really important. We love building those connections. It's a really great thing. I'm not going to lie. I spend quite a bit of money every time we have a pop-up. My entire wardrobe now, except for maybe 2 or 3 items, has all come from closet pop-up sales, because we all change. We all develop. We all change our style. The style I had I was just saying this to Marlo, the style I had when I was 19, in my teens, in my early 20s, in the 90s, and the early 2000s is definitely not my style now into 2023. And I'm really glad about that. So our style is changing. We need to update sometimes our wardrobe, but that doesn't mean we have to go out to a store and buy all new brand new stuff. I don't know if anyone else has had this. I have bought many brand new things. I donate all my business clothes back to Dress for Success. And I have donated many things that still have the tag on it, or maybe I only wore once, because, I love to shop. And I think a lot of women can say that they love to shop. And then, you know what, you have all these things, you're like, oh, why did I buy this? I don't even remember why I bought this, or I don't like this anymore. And this is an opportunity for you to recycle those items and provide women who can't afford to go and just buy new clothing, with an opportunity for them to feel confident, for them to feel empowered, and for them to feel stylish and trendy and feel good about themselves. So that's really a great thing about our organization. These are just some pictures of kind of what our boutique looks like. But again, if you're ever interested, please just email us, and I'd be more than happy to give you a quick little tour around. Our next actual closet pop-up is actually happening at the end of March. So please follow us on social media or send me an email and I'll add you to our emailing list, and you will get all the sweet, sweet updates of when our next closet pop-up is. I'm talking like tops are $5, pants are $10, shoes are $10. Really great savings. And then here's just kind of all the contact information you want. Our website, our email, my phone number, our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can connect with us any way that works for you. And same thing, if you know somebody who could use our services and they don't have a phone, or maybe they don't have access to email, but maybe they can send a message on Facebook. There's lots of times I've talked to people through Facebook. There's lots of times I've set up appointments through text messages, because some people just don't have minutes on their phone. So it's really great to have all those opportunities to really work with our community members to get them to where they want to be and have them successful. So she believed she could, so she did, is kind of just a little saying we like to say. So is there any questions? We talked there for a while.
That was great. Thanks, Hannah.
No
I feel like
problem.
you've covered all the bases there.
I hope I did.
I was gonna ask when the pop-up sale is, but you covered that. It's great.
Yes, please follow us on social media because it's going to be exciting.